We're here today with Jack Wagner. Jack Wagner wrestles at UNI. He's a Bettendorf High School product, was a 3-time Iowa state champion in high school for Bettendorf, Iowa. Jack, thanks very much for meeting with us.
Yep, no problem.
How's your summer been going so far?
It's been different, obviously, all the stuff going on. So basically been home since March 12th. Training out of Gogi here with Nick Trezino, Brody Growth, this Jay Schwarm. So honestly, I haven't missed a beat training. Honestly, feel the best I ever have. So it's been different, but it's been good in a lot of ways. Kind of getting back to myself, knowing what I know, back to my roots. So I'm grateful.
That's awesome. Yeah. What have you been? Is there anything in particular you've been focusing on this summer?
Yeah, I've actually I've slimmed down quite a bit from last summer. Last year I was about mid-50s, high 50s sporadically, but right now it's I'm 40 to 43. I go to bed 43 maximum. It's just, last year I struggled making weight when it counted, so I wanted to make a change, and I figured why not do it at home when I've got the meals and the prep to do it. So, and then any just wrestling specific things, I've been working with Brody Growth this a lot on my top game because I've struggled there pretty much. Since high school, and just it's important at college, and I've learned it. I'm 5th year senior and I still haven't figured it out, so I figured it was time to figure it out.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, if you don't mind, let's go back to sort of the beginning of your wrestling career. How did you get your start in the sport?
It was I was eased into it. I didn't feel any pressure. My dad was a good wrestler, but it was just do you want to wrestle? And he was like, do you want to wrestle? And I was finally yeah, let's go to practice. So pretty much started 7 years old, 6 years old, just light, going to practice, messing around, having fun. But I didn't have the success right away that a lot of my friends and teammates that I've had that did. But obviously I just worked towards it, and then it happened. So I started young, took it as for fun at first, but then I started taking it serious, and I think that was a way to do it. So
sure.
Yeah.
Did you wrestle in any clubs growing up? Were you in the Bettendorf Wrestling Club, or?
I was in the Bettendorf Wrestling Club, and then pretty much just Bettendorf Wrestling Club in Agogi.
Okay.
So right when Agogi was made, that was where I was. So
sure.
Just yeah.
Awesome. Well, you kind of mentioned it. Actually, we're going to get into this too. Your dad was an incredible wrestler, was a Division III national champ at Augustana. How did that influence you, or was there ever any pressure knowing how successful your dad was?
I wouldn't say it was pressure, but definitely there's that where I wanted to do better. So in high school it was all about nothing catching my dad or anything like that, but it was just what he did, so it's I want to do it. But I always had a little bit bigger goals, I would say, and he started a lot later than me, so by the time I got to high school, I kind of knew what trajectory I was on. It was let's go Division I, let's make this a lifestyle. So it was never really pushed on me. It was always just, he was there for as a friend, as a teammate for me. So never really pressure or influenced in a bad way. It was honestly the best father-son relationship I could have in wrestling. You see those dudes that can't stand the sport because they're dads, so it's just it was nice. But obviously, being a little better than him in high school it's always fun to joke about. But
yeah.
He's got, I don't care if it's Division III, Division II, Division I, winning a national title is pretty damn hard. So
yep.
He's got me there right now.
Sure.
So
Sure. For now he does.
Yeah.
As a young wrestler, who did you look up to? Was there somebody you modeled your style after?
I've always been that guy that's I like to look a little, I don't want to say flashy or anything, but I like the slick stuff. I like Jordan Oliver. I like watching him wrestle, and I learned a lot from watching him wrestle. And I always remember this. I always had a little bit more speed than kids, so I was always watching stuff like him. And when I got to Iowa, Thomas Gilman was always just you need to watch John Smith. You need to watch John Smith. And I was yeah, I do. And so a lot of my stuff's based off just that low level attacks and stuff. So Burroughs, Oliver, and then I've always been a little bit in your face too. So I like Rutherford a lot, and I like Nolf. But I would say for my style, I based it off I like to watch Jordan Oliver, and then as in your face and stuff. It's Zane Rutherford, man, and Metcalf,
yeah.
Ramos, those dudes were the dudes I wanted to Those dudes didn't disrespect dudes, but they knew that going into the match they had a lead because those dudes were scared of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know I remember that you were a Fargo All-American.
Yep.
Did you do a lot of freestyle and Greco growing up?
I wrestled Greco states, like just that freestyle and Greco state because I'd weigh in early. So
Okay. Yeah.
I won a few Greco, 3 or 4 Greco state titles, but never really did any of that on the national scene. But I started wrestling freestyle 7th or 8th grade summer just because that's when I really transitioned to full-time wrestling, 7th grade. So got into freestyle. I actually liked it, but I never really I never did the world team trials, never any of that stuff, but I got good at it, and I mean it translates to over my style well because I'm a neutral wrestler,
Yeah.
as people would say. But so I mean, yeah, I went on a good run at Fargo, but after that it was kind of, I mean, college is, I want to win a national title and it's folk style, so I focused on folk style.
Yep. Who would you say, I know you've had a lot of really good coaches throughout your career. Is there one that sticks out as maybe like the toughest coach?
Like as in?
You knew every workout was just going to be a grind. They're just going to kick your butt.
I mean, I would say Nick Trezino's up there with that, but he's also been Nick Trezino hasn't just been my club coach. Nick Trezino's been my mentor, my individual coach, my telling me what to put in after a workout when I've got a tournament coming up. It's pretty much been him. So, I mean, everything he's made me do has been hard, but everything he's made me do has been with a purpose. So, Nick Trezino's been my guy, so that's who I would pick. Yeah,
that's awesome. He's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about your transition from high school into college, can you think of maybe what was one of the bigger obstacles in that transition?
Yeah. As for wrestling goes, I would say mat wrestling. I mean, I remember going into Iowa my freshman year before I transferred to UNI. I was just, am I ever gonna get out when I want to get out? Escaping. And eventually, it's just you got to make your mind up. So I would say mat wrestling and the riding time and adjusting to dudes are not going to let you up until you get your butt up. So, I mean, mat wrestling, and then just the lifestyle too. I've never shied away from training, but I mean, it's a little more like what you're putting in your body after practice. You can't go have, I remember just Tom and Terry, always telling us to hydrate, and Doug Schwab always telling us to hydrate and stuff. So it's not like I'm drinking Mountain Dews and going eating tacos after practice anymore like I would when I was in high school. Now it's yeah, you gotta, if you want to feel good in the morning,
sure,
you gotta hydrate and stuff. So I mean, yeah.
Sure. Do you have any advice for high school wrestlers who have the aspirations to wrestle in college?
I would say I obviously prioritize wrestling, but don't put so much into it that other stuff starts failing, as in school, relationships with your family and stuff like that. I've been to both sides where I've done prioritized wrestling and where I haven't prioritized wrestling. I would say you need a balance. So if you don't play other sports, obviously wrestling is what you need to focus on, but also have everything in check, balance, consistency in life on and off the mat. Because if you're not doing good in school, it's going to hinder you in the practice room and in your performance. So I would just say balance, so you can perform at the highest level in the room and out of the room, obviously.
Sure, that's great advice. I know I'll probably edit my mumbling out, but one of the quotes that Eric Juergens gave us a lot, or that I really liked, was something like, good wrestlers, you don't really see somebody doing really well at wrestling and not doing well in other aspects of their life.
Yep.
I think winners typically win at everything.
Yes.
So I like
that too.
That's great advice you gave. Appreciate
it
it.
is.
So we're here. I didn't mention this. I don't think we're down here at Summit in Bettendorf, Iowa, where Agoge Wrestling Club is. Can you give us a little background on Agoge?
So originally Agoge was opened by my dad, but it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing. We bought a warehouse. It was never this nice. Bought a warehouse, threw some mats in it, so dudes from all around the area could come scrap without freaking ADs getting mad, other coaches saying, stuff like that. Just you're trying to get dudes to wrestle for you guys, or trying to influence them. It was open for every kid to come here with a neutral coach to train hard and get better at wrestling. There was nothing like that ever happening, and so it was just honestly, a Gogi Wrestling Club is the best thing for the Quad Cities. It brings kids from Assumption, North Scott, Bettendorf, PB, anywhere you want to come train and wrestle for a coach that doesn't care how you do it, or who doesn't care how you wrestle for who you do it for. It's just all about how are you developing as a wrestler individually. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're big Agogi fans. My kids have been here off and on for several years now. I remember back when you were in high school, I mentioned this actually in our interview with Jay Schwarm as well, but I remember as a wrestling fan just being like almost awestruck. Like it was, you, Schwarm, Freddie, Dayton Racer, Woodard. And I tried at that time to add up how many state titles. I mean, that's 11 or 12 state titles. It's insane, just an all-star cast of kids. And I know kids from all around. I remember probably one of your good friends, Carver James, ended up wrestling at Illinois. He was always here. It was really cool. Open doors for anyone to come in and just get better.
It's exactly what it was. It was just it wasn't a culture from a school or anything that had already been made a tradition. It was just any dude that wants to come in and work hard and scrap it was allowed to come, and that's how it should be. So, I mean, it's been great for everyone. I mean, not just me. Obviously, it's been great for me because I have open access and everyone, but it's been great for everyone that's in the Quad Cities.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We just talked a little bit about the Big Ten announcing today no football season. Also, college football also coming through the same items, right? Talking about it. What's your take on it right now, and looking forward to wrestling? How do you think that may affect us?
So my take on it is, don't stop working. Like, I'm not saying it because it's cliche. I'm saying it because I put a lot of work in this summer. I've made sacrifices on my diet, my lifestyle, and things that I could have done that I didn't do because I knew it was coming. And that's the NCAA season, whether it's in October or whether it's in January. It's going to happen. I believe that. So I would say let's keep working as if we're having an NCAA wrestling tournament in March.
Love it. Great answer.
All right. Going to get to our final part, sudden death OT questions. Okay, you ready for this? Okay. First question, favorite wrestling movie?
I'm going to have to go Vision Quest probably, just because I've seen it the most. My dad showed me it, so yeah, Vision Quest.
Just no blood time anymore, right?
Yep, exactly.
Favorite superhero?
Spider-Man, easily.
Favorite wrestling match of all time?
I like Doug Schwab versus Eric Guerrero because it just shows who Doug is. I mean, the dude's relentless. He still is at, 44, so, I mean, #1 dude in the country. Doug melted him, so that's my favorite match right now.
What's it like sparring with Doug?
Doug Schwab doesn't stop, so, I mean, it's a match, it's a spar, it's a drill, you know you're blowing your gas, so be ready if you're walking into a room for a workout with him.
Awesome.
What's your favorite food? And then is there any local establishments that you think we should check out?
Yeah, so favorite food, I mean, I love like steak tacos, so I mean, I'd have to go with Blue Iguana. My dad owns it. It's a Mexican joint in LeClaire, so and then anything I can plug is obviously just what my dad does. So I mean, Blue Iguana, Tanglewood, Steventon, City Limits in Rock Island, and it's all great. They're all up for some awards in the Quad Cities, so go try it out and let them know I told you guys you were coming.
Yeah, for sure. Great food, great service, and nice and cold beverages as well.
I'm hungry and thirsty. Okay, greatest Olympic U.S. wrestler?
John Smith. I mean, I love Jordan Burroughs, and I love what he stands for because it's more my generation, but what John Smith did is incredible, and just what he develops is incredible. So, because I mean, you got to look at it as not only an athlete, but what he's developed. He develops dudes that want what he wants, and those dudes have a lot of Olympic and world medals. So, and just as far as technique goes, John Smith is the GOAT. So.
All right, two-parter. Who's going to win the 57-kilogram spot for the U.S. team next Olympics?
That's a tough one. I think Spencer Lee's hard to beat in a 7-minute match. I do. For Thomas Gilman, I think those are the top two guys in my opinion. But then like you throw in a Nick Suriano, Dayton Fix kind of dudes who can wrestle that long too. So honestly, my gut is Spencer Lee, but I want to say if the match gets gritty and grimy, it's Thomas Gilman.
Sure. And then the next part is Snyder or Cox?
Jaden Cox. I think Snyder is great, but I think Jaden Cox is on a different level.
Okay. What's your favorite recreational activity? Golf, fishing, or just going on a cruise in the Jeep?
Golf. I'd probably golf 5 or 6 rounds a week on a good week in the summer, especially this summer. Not much to do besides wrestle and golf. So, I mean, I play a lot of golf with my dad. I play a lot of golf with my buddies.
Who wins between you and your dad?
I beat my dad in 18 holes twice ever, so I got a lot of work to do.
Sure. How about you ever go with Nick or Jay?
Golfing? I golf with Nick, Jay, and Brody a few times this summer. Brody's one of the best golfers I know, so it's definitely fun to get to watch that. But yeah, I've golfed with those dudes quite a bit.
All right, Jack, we like to end our interviews with what's your favorite quote?
I tweeted out something yesterday or something. I mean, I kind of like tweeting out stuff, like just to, I don't know, but I tweeted, adversity shows who you really are, and I think that's kind of described me those last 3 or 4 years, whether it's outside adversity or self-inflicted adversity, even with school, like struggling in school or not doing my work. It's just, I think adversity shows you who you really are, and I'm still standing, I'm still fighting for an NCAA title. So if I had to say that right now, that's my favorite quote. So yeah,
that's a great one, man. Well, Jack, we really appreciate your time. Best of luck to you. We look forward to continuing to watch you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this podcast with your friends. Give us a like and a follow on Facebook and Twitter at QCA Wrestle. And keep an eye out for more QCA wrestling content coming soon.